I've always been a fan of shows like Cops and enjoyed them even as a kid growing up. One of the similar shows that I watched was World's Scariest Police Chases, narrated by the great John Walsh. One of my friends had a copy of the game based on the show on the PS1, but I never played it more than 5 minutes. So when I came across a copy of this at a game store, I had to pick it up, and here we are playing it. Think of World's Scariest Police Chases of playing like the old Driver games, and you'll have an idea of what you're going to be going up against. You drive around in a variety of law enforcement vehicles and attempt to enforce law. There's 2 modes of play, Pursuit Mode and Free Drive. Pursuit Mode is the story mode of sorts, and Free Drive allows you to explore the city, arresting any wrongdoers that try to escape. Pursuit Mode is actually a good way to start, as there is a lengthy multi-stage tutorial that is presented to you before they actually let you begin missions on your own. It teaches you basic driving maneuvers, advanced handbrake turns, and also firearm use. Yeah, you get to shoot while driving, but more on that in a bit. The tutorial is useful, but it does not give you any room for error. But stick with it, and you'll succeed. Besides, it's not even close to being as frustrating as Driver's opening tutorial level. Once you hit the streets, you are given a mission and just need to complete it. You'll learn that there are 2 ways to take out the criminals. See those 2 bars on the bottom of the screen? One is red, one is blue. The red bar denotes how damaged the thug's vehicle is. The blue is considered a stress meter. Obviously, wrecking their vehicle will disable it, normally completing the mission. Similarly, once the blue is maxed out, the car will stop as well, under the implication that the criminal is giving themselves up because they realize they cannot escape your iron grasp. There are times where you'll be forced to use the stress mechanic, such as when you are trying to stop a jacked bus that has civilians on board. Of course, you have a damage gauge as well. Here is one of my complaints with the game. Your police cruiser is way too fragile. Sure, smashing headfirst into light posts and brick walls at high speeds is bound to stop you in your tracks, but by simply brushing up against objects, your gauge will quickly be drained. Thankfully, there aren't a lot of times in which you'll wreck, but it is a danger that you'll need to keep an eye on. Now, let's say that you can't get close enough to the enemy you are following to ram into them. That's when the firearms come into play. Your partner will lean out the passenger seat and fire at what you target. There are multiple weapons that you will unlock, from the standard pistol to an assault rifle to a shotgun. By pressing a button, you'll bring up a targeting reticle, which can then be locked onto the criminal that you are chasing. This cursor remains on the opposition, allowing you to pump rounds into their car, disabling it quickly. Thankfully, the auto-aim used for this is very forgiving, making things a bit easier for you. You want to make sure that you don't shoot any civilians in the crossfire though, otherwise the mission may be cancelled due to your recklessness. One thing to keep in mind is that there are no mid-mission checkpoints. You'll have to complete each mission from start to finish with no failure. This may mean plenty of attempts, especially in some of the more challenging stages, like one lengthy task of trailing someone, taking another vehicle out quickly, then returning to a point to pick up evidence, all within a strict time limit. None of them feel completely broken though, and perseverance will get you through. To give you added incentive to exceed expectations, you can earn bonus vehicles for the free roam mode by doing well in your tasks. The game doesn't explicitly state what you need to do to earn these rewards, but they do exist. As an added bonus, the game has a fantastic presentation, mimicking the show that it's based on. John Walsh will narrate the level introductions and conclusions, whether you succeed or fail.
Gangbangers held up in a motel engage police in a no-holds-barred death match. When good meets bad and neither side backs down, the results are explosive.
In addition, when you take down a criminal, you get to see a biography of them. I love this stuff. It really gives the game an authentic feel. There are a few minor complaints I do have with the game. One, the minimap doesn't rotate with you. It's far from game-breaking, but it is worth mentioning. 2, there's a serious lack of speed in the game. You might feel like you should be going faster, but the game only ever feels like you're going out for a small Sunday cruise. I'm going to blame the technology of the time, but again, I did want to mention it. The graphics are actually pretty well done. I'm a sucker for early 3D games like stuff featured on the PlayStation, so I enjoyed the way that the city was created, the various pedestrians and traffic you'll run into, and probably best of all, the neat rain system. The precipitation starts coming down straight in vertical lines, but as you pick up speed, it'll angle towards the camera. I like this mechanic, no matter how simple it may be. I didn't finish the game yet. I got to a mission where you are undercover and a suicidal Fox News van comes after you, which made me laugh since the show originally aired on Fox. But I enjoyed World's Scariest Police Chases from start to near finish. I thought it was going to be a cheap cash-in, but it had some solid gameplay, enjoyable missions, authentic feel, and fluid controls. It's cheap enough to find yourself a copy, and if you enjoy driving games with objectives, I'd suggest you do so. Final score? 6 out of 7. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.